You ready? Okay. Good evening. The regular meeting of the Township of Ocean Board of Adjustment of March 15th, 2018 will please come to order. Please call the roll.
Here.
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 Here. Here. Here.
Here, please stand for the salute to the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. The notice requirements of the Open Public Meeting Law for this meeting have been satisfied. A copy of the notice having been sent to the Asbury Park Press and the Coaster and filed in the office of the Township Clerk on July 12, 2017. Emergency notice is an emergency exit through the courtroom doors and 2 exits to the rear of the room. Please note that the no smoking laws are in effect here tonight. Also note it's board policy. No new cases will be started after 11 p.m. No new testimony taken after 11:30 p.m. In addition, each applicant will be limited to 45 minutes of testimony. Also, please note that all meetings will be video and audio taped and shown on the Township of Ocean's Community Cable Channel, Channel 22 on Verizon Fios, and Channel 77 on Cablevision. All cell phones must be turned off. If you need to make a call, please do so outside the meeting room. Some announcements first. The following cases will not be heard tonight and are carried to our meeting of April 19th, 2018. Dennis Randall, Gerard Miller, Block 131, Lot 11, 2001, South Wanamassa Drive, Wanamassa. Chris Schwartz, Block 1.03, Lot 9, 5 Frederick Drive, Ocean. Erica Voigt, Block 25.05, Lot 2, 141 Chatham Avenue, Oakhurst. Stephen Scaba, Block 8.02, Lot 24, 46 Larchwood Avenue, Oakhurst. Warren Linder, Block 40.03, Lot 3, 608 Deal Road, Ocean. More recent, Aileen Benjamin, Block 22, Lot 38, 250 Overbrook Avenue, Oakhurst. David and Layla Soltz, Block 50, Lot 6, 404 Runyon Avenue, West Deal. Lakeside Adult Medical Daycare Center, LLC, Block 140, Lot 41, 1001 Wickapecker Drive, Wanamassa. Faraj and Rebecca Salome, Block 22, Lots 44.02, 249 Overbrook Avenue, Oakhurst. Cesar Mala, Block 22, Lot 6, 326 Roosevelt Avenue, Oakhurst. This will serve as public notice, no further notice being required. The following application has been withdrawn. Amy Sickles, Block 40.11, Lot 15, 1018 Franklin Avenue, Ocean. The following memorializations are on the board. Unless someone needs them read in full, we intend to offer them by title only. We're going to offer them individually? Yeah. Okay, fine. Brenda Cabasso, Block 58, Lot 10, 449 Crosby Avenue, deal bulk variance approval. Someone offer it, please?
Second.
Call the roll, please.
Yes.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Susan Pogwitz, Block 130, Lot 10, 1308 Vine Avenue, Wanamassa, bulk variance approval.
I offer.
I second.
Call the roll, please.
Thank you. Just reviewing.
Yes.
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 Victoria Schreiber, Block 25, Lot 87, 480 Elizabeth Street, Oakhurst, bulk variance approval. Someone offer it.
Second.
Call the roll, please.
Yes.
Yes. Yes. Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Beverly Marcy Itel, Block 20.01, Lot 20, 307 South Lincoln Avenue, Oakhurst, bulk variance approval. Someone offer it.
Second.
Call the roll.
Yes.
Yes. Yes. Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Thank you. Brings us to the first case of this evening is a carried case, Jerry Maurer, Block 113, Lot 60, 11 Wanamassa Point Road, Ocean, in an R6 zone. This is an application to remove and replace a driveway with variances for driveway width over maximum and side yard setback under minimum. Good evening. Would you raise your right hand, please? Do you swear the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? Just have a seat and give us your name and address for the record in the microphone.
Jerry Maurer, 11 Wanamassa Point Road.
Thank you very much. And Rachel, could you mark the packet B1 with tonight's date? And Mr. Fitzgerald's going to give us all the reports.
Yeah, I'll read Jim Higgins' report dated March 7th, 2018 first. It's probably easier to read it than to summarize it. The applicant's requesting to replace an existing deteriorated driveway and apron with granite pavers. The existing driveway is more than the 20-foot permitted width and abuts the side property line where 5-foot setback is required. The existing driveway is in such poor condition that it is a hazard. Replacing it will be a significant improvement, both in terms of safety and aesthetics. This is a unique area of the township, and the existing driveway is consistent with other driveways in the area. Consequently, from a planning point of view, I have no significant concerns. I concur with pretty much all of that. I just had a couple of suggestions in my report dated March 11th. I wanted to point out a couple of things. Mr. Mauer is asking to extend his granite block driveway to the road. Usually you have an apron between the end of a driveway and what people think are the road, but this is a really unique setup. This is a 20-foot right-of-way. Okay, I mean, it doesn't even make sense to think in terms of 50-foot roads and how they're put together. There's no reason that he shouldn't be able to extend his granite block driveway to his property line, which happens to be the edge of the road, so I have no issue with that at all. We have no construction details, which is okay too. I didn't know if you were grouting or sanding the joints between the
Stone dust.
stone dust. Okay. That's one of the reasons I recommended a strip along your garage. It's smoother to walk on, easier to shovel than granite block. If you've ever shoveled it, you'll rattle your teeth. But having said that, I'm not, my heels aren't dug in, but you don't have a gutter on that side of your garage. And when the water runs off that side of the garage, it's going to blow the stone dust out of there. You're going to spend your entire life replacing the stone dust in the pavers that abut your garage directly.
So the plan is stone dust throughout the bulk of it?
All right.
Mr. Mauer, you just have to use the microphone because it's got to get recorded too.
The game plan is stone dust throughout the majority of the surface area,
Right.
but polymeric dust that will actually bond and is resistant to water hitting it like that.
I don't think so. I think you're going to spend your whole life fixing that, but it's up to you.
On that note, if I can, the stone dust though and the pavers, because they are irregular, and even if you butt them up very tight, you still get anywhere from a quarter to a 3/8 joint. And it's a great ecological benefit because very little water runs off. It really actually permeates.
Permeable concrete works too, but it's okay. I'm not forcing you. I just wanted to recommend it because I'm fine with it.
Okay, thank you.
We're just going to need the details. I recommended the road is a curve. Mr. Bauer's entire frontage is 20.68 feet, 20 feet 8 inches. And the ordinance allows a 20-foot driveway, which makes no sense to take 8 inches off if you look at what's really out there. So what I wanted to do was put an edging at the edge of the property on that curve, put a regular curb but flush. That'll protect you against washout and it protects the town. So everybody, if you're okay with that, that's the only thing I had. I have no problem with it if Mr. Mauer wants to use stone dust or the polymeric sand or whatever. He's in essence creating a permeable paver system, which is really a good thing.
Okay. Okay. Even though we've gone over some of it, tell us why you're seeking this improvement.
Yes, thank you. We're at the end of our home renovation, and the driveway is it's very rough, both aesthetically. It looks terrible. It's hasn't been maintained since we bought the house and years before that, so probably 30, 40 years, nothing's been done. And it's absolutely a safety hazard. You're not able to shovel it, it's uneven, you can't clear snow, ice forms, and so we want to put in a very period appropriate material. We don't want to put in asphalt or something. We've taken a lot of pains to keep the house as the characteristics of it, just modernized. And so we think these are a great attribute to it, and again, very period appropriate, great ecological benefit, very unique, and as both Mr. Fitzgerald and Mr. Higgins pointed out, that it's a unique area, and we want to preserve that uniqueness.
Okay. Anybody have any questions or concerns from the board? Anyone from the public here to be heard? Is there a motion to close the public hearing?
I move.
Second.
Call the roll.
Yes.
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 Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes, so we want to move the,
I move for positive resolution, with, what Bill said about, what is that?
Well, you have,
The-
the driveway, the granite block right out to the edge of his front
Right.
lot, yeah,
Okay.
It's in all in your letter,
yes.
the conditions and.
in accordance with Bill's report.
Okay.
But
According to
just,
Bill's
just to be
report.
clear, it was a recommendation about the sidewalk. It wasn't a, you have to do it, or you,
Okay.
Yeah.
if he doesn't want to, it's fine with me. It's his walk.
Okay,
I'm
Second.
just gonna go watch him shovel it.
okay. Is there
Second.
a second, Mr. Malta, call the roll, please?
Yes.
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 Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes, good luck. Rachel will give you information to publish.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you. Next application, case number 2, Eric Seton, block 71, lot 2, 706 Laurel Avenue, West Allenhurst, in an R5 zone. This is an application to install a paver patio with variances for side and rear yard setbacks under minimum. Good evening. Would you raise your right hand, please? You swear the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? Could you just have a seat and give us your name and address in the microphone, please?
Hi, my name's Eric Seton, 706 Laurel Avenue, West Allenhurst.
Thank you very much. Rachel, could you mark the packet B1 with tonight's date, and Bill, you're up again.
Okay, so first we'll take Mr. Higgins, the board planner's letter of March 8th, 2018, and again, I'll read it. It's short. The applicant proposes to remove an existing deck and construct a paver patio and install a hot tub in the rear yard. A variance is necessary for the 4-foot setback of the patio where 10 feet are required, 10-foot setback is required. The site is a 70-foot deep lot, and the depth of the house is approximately 37.5 feet with a 13-foot front yard setback. Consequently, there's approximately 20 feet of rear yard available for accessory structures, and there is a hardship with regard to lot depth. The depth of the proposed patio is approximately 16 feet, and the remaining 4-foot setback will be planted with emerald green arborvitae. A 6-foot high board-on-board fence surrounds the backyard. The issue for the board to decide is whether there is a hardship, since one clearly exists. It's not whether there is a hardship, since one clearly exists, but whether the detriment caused by the 4-foot setback is substantial or is adequately mitigated by the arborvitae and fence. The hot tub does not require any variances. I have a letter dated March 12th. I won't bother reading the first item. I'll note the number 2, the surrounding neighborhood is fully developed and has been for many years. Item 3, the survey upon which the plan is based is 24 years old. Additionally, the plan is devoid of dimensions, construction details, and or grading information. As a result, it is not possible to completely evaluate applicant's proposal from an engineering perspective. Number 4, this property, those adjacent to it, and the structures upon them are tightly packed. I put a tax map snippet on the last page just so you can see. Mr. Sutton's lot is number 2, 70 by 100. Every one of those other lots has a house on it. Okay. I cannot recommend consideration of this request until it is demonstrated via current survey location and topographic or elevation information that drainage from the added impervious coverage will not adversely impact any off-site property. Also, the meaning of above ground as it applies to the hot tub must be clarified. Will it sit upon the patio or will it be raised above it? The issue of privacy must be considered.
Okay, thank you very much. Mr. Seton, the floor is yours.
Thank you. I purchased a house last year, and I'm looking to make some improvements, and one of the improvements would be to get some better use out of my backyard. The backyard is extremely narrow. I brought some photos if it would be easier to see.
Why don't we describe the farm and the market A1? Why don't go into the middle? And then I'll pass them around.
This is Exhibit A1, which is a I would say, a linear view of the back of my backyard. As you can see, it's fairly narrow. There is an existing deck, which is, I would say, really not useful. It's maybe 5 feet wide, so you could barely fit a folding chair and not be able to walk by. So my plan would be to, well, let me just look at the second picture. This is from a different angle.
We'll mark it A2.
This is A2, and that gives you just a different angle. So my plan is, as I applied, would be to remove this existing wood deck and to put a paver patio on the ground level. It's not going to be raised, and put it about four feet from the fence, where I would plant a row of arborvitaes for privacy and for aesthetics.
Okay.
So how deep will the deck be?
Uh,
The house?
15.5 feet. It's from the edge of the house, structure till the beginning of the tree bed.
And what about addressing Mr. Fitzgerald's concerns with drainage, et cetera?
Right.
And
So, yes, I did read Mr. Fitzgerald's letter yesterday. I'm not sure whether currently, including the patio, if it was allowed, would I be still within my impervious lot coverage allowance? I wasn't able to really calculate that.
Doesn't matter.
Well, we're talking,
Right.
I'm not against your project in any way.
No.
The only thing I want to be sure of is when, and I'm not overly concerned
thank you.
about additional runoff volume because your lake is tidal, as long as it's clean, and this actually DEP would consider this as clean, so I have no issue with that. What I have an issue with is there's a lot of things packed up against that fence. When the water leaves your property, does it go towards someone's shed, to the house, with a basement? I don't know.
Right, so,
We have typically asked people in the situation like this that want to increase impervious cover, where just to show us the path that it takes to get to the next street.
what I did speak with my contractor about that when I did read your letter. There is going to be a pitch, obviously, towards the tree bed, and he suggested to put a perforated pipe with fabric and stone, and then run that perforated pipe into a pop-up drain that would be in my side yard. So this way, if there was potentially a larger volume of runoff, that pipe would pick it up.
That has to be designed. I think you may find, I don't know what's there. I didn't walk through all the other properties. Okay. You may find that you're gonna need an engineer involved with it anyway. It may be actually less expensive, less complicated, less kind of Rube Goldberg. If there's actually a path from your backyard out to the next street that doesn't impact anybody. Water goes downhill. It's allowed to run down a hill. It just can't impact someone, can't sit in the back of someone's yard, can't land on their patio and be a puddle and cause ice. It can't go in their basement, you know what I'm saying? It may be easier just to show that it's okay instead of that. You're gonna need permeability tests, you're gonna need a lot of things, survey work. You're also gonna need to show that it works and put elevations on everything. You may just wanna end it with the survey work if you can. That's all I'm suggesting.
Okay, I did take pictures of my backyard. The elevation is flat, so, I mean, I don't know if that's something that you'd like to see, or if that impacts your,
I need some real design and information and the design. I'm not in any way against what you want to do. Your contractor drawing a sketch with a pipe and a pop-up emitter is not going to cut it.
again, our concern here in many, many places in town is always drainage and flooding. It's probably the number one concern with residences. So we need, and Bill needs, an assurance that it's not going to negatively impact any of your neighbors. And that's got to be in this particular case, because it's tight, you got no margin for error here, you have to have it professionally done by an engineer and whatever is necessary. you may wind up in a situation that, it doesn't pay to put on the pavers that you want to do. That's an economic decision you have to make. But in order for us to approve the setbacks, he needs assurance, and we need his assurance that it's not going to have any negative impact on the neighbors. So you have to get a little more homework done on this before we can consider it.
So,
I have another question also.
sure.
In the picture A2, there seems to be a pipe that drains out into the backyard. Is that a sump?
That's sump pump.
So where's that water going when the sump goes off? Because when you put the pavers down, that water's still gotta go somewhere.
Right.
In the winter, that's gonna freeze too, so I know you're not gonna use the paver deck, or the paver patio, but that sump water, and we all know in Ocean Township, those sumps run. They're not
Right.
they're not there for good looks.
Do you run a lot over there?
No.
No, I didn't think it was. If you're up nice and high and you get the lake,
Yeah.
it's probably not a terrible groundwater situation, just because you have the lake with a steep bank. So the water typically wants to run along parallel to the ground surface, but then as it gets near a body of water, so he might be okay with, but you're still, here's the other issue you have. I don't wanna play attorney kind of thing, but I know from case law, because I've been involved in the lawsuits over, not the particular ones, but if you change the pattern of flow and it adversely impacts someone else, you have a liability. So right now, your sump pump is discharging onto ground. It's going to discharge onto a paver patio. That's sort of changing the pattern of flow. There's certainly a good argument that you're now concentrating more. And if somebody claims that you're impacting them, so it's better to do this right. No one's saying that it's not a good idea. We're just saying that you can't adversely impact anyone else, and you have to prove you're not.
Bill, can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
And maybe, I don't know if Mr. Sutton would be willing to do this, but if you put a deck there instead of pavers, and then the water goes through the deck into the ground, right? Or wouldn't
As
that-
long as it's designed properly, right, and as long as the ground is reasonably pervious. Up now in the winter, when the ground's frozen, of course, it's a different
Yeah,
item.
of course.
Okay, so all I want to see is that there's a path out to the
Out.
next street
Yeah, I
that
get it.
doesn't impact any. If there's not, then he has to figure out what to do with it. That's why you need.
Right. I did consider a deck. I think there'd be a sort of a privacy concern, because now if the deck is 18 inches above ground.
Yeah.
Well, your concerns are, definitely
Right.
warranted, and
I-
real.
Right, as you can see, the neighbors are all built up against my fence with sheds and utility sheds. So,
Although-
Their position is you're all built up against the back of their property. Okay,
Right, right.
It just depends on which side of the fence you're.
right.
I'm not telling you what to do.
Right,
but
no,
although you can have a step that makes it not 18 inches and makes it.
You can
6
put in
inches.
pervious paver system too, but okay, you still need someone to
Someone
say
to
that it's
say
going to be
that the
fine.
drainage-
Okay?
I
Right.
get it.
Even if I put an impervious paver system.
Pervious paver system.
Right, pervious paver system.
Right.
There would still be a drainage concern?
Yeah.
Okay,
Okay, we just need it professionally designed, is what I'm trying to
You
say.
need someone to take the responsibility
Put
that
a
this is
design
not
and make sure that it's not going to impact anybody.
what Bill said.
And because you're looking at it and saying it's all level, but I know from doing this myself, you think it's level, it's never level.
No,
That
right,
water
right,
is
right.
going somewhere.
Relatively, right,
And we just need a report basically that says your water's going to be contained in a way that gets it safely to the street or to a
Right.
drain.
It doesn't impact
As
anybody's
opposed
yard.
Where's
to-
it gonna go?
Right.
Actually,
You
we
know.
don't wanna contain it, we wanna make it go away.
We want to make it go away.
Right,
But we
right.
definitely don't want it to go into your neighbor's property.
Right,
You know,
so
that's,
right, so that.
So we need a report that will let him look at it and say, good, there's no water problem. Then we can.
Right. So
look
your
at the rest
concern
of
is that I don't impact other people's property.
Correct.
Got it.
That the water is channeled
That's it.
away
Correct.
Yeah.
Yes.
towards the sewer
Street.
system.
With any
the
luck,
street.
it goes right down a common boundary and out to, that was in North Edgemere, is that what it was?
Monmouth Road.
Yeah, was it?
Oh, Monmouth or
No,
South?
no,
Oh, South Edgemere.
Yeah.
Yeah, south.
Right.
Edgemere.
You're on Laurel Avenue, aren't you?
Yes.
Yeah, but, right, so he's got, these houses behind him face Steel Lake.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're going to carry this case till
Before you do
our
that,
next meeting in 8.
he hasn't answered the question about the hot tub. There was a question about the hot tub, wasn't
Are
there?
you setting the hot tub right on the paver patio?
No, well, the hot tub is an option, whether I'm gonna put it or not, I still really haven't decided, but it wouldn't be on the paver patio, it would be in my side yard,
Okay.
on a pad. So
Like a
can I mark
concrete
that?
pad?
Oh, okay, but it's gonna be at ground level?
At ground level, yes.
Right, the steps are only so you can get from the ground, I
Yes,
understand it.
yes.
Okay, so.
So it's not above ground.
Right, the hot tub is sitting on a pad at grade.
Right.
Is that,
Does anybody?
yeah, is that gonna create any more impervious surface with,
The hot tub, no.
on the pad or something? Is that?
No,
gonna-
because the hot tub is on the pads.
Okay,
I don't, that's maybe 8 by 8, I mean, that's really.
okay, before we carry this, is anyone from the public here to be heard on this? Mr. Rocco, please come forward. We'd like to swear you in.
I have you.
Okay, if you'd like.
I go here.
Right, wherever you'd like.
Any place there's a mic.
Don't get too comfortable.
But raise your right hand.
Like Mike's.
Raise your right hand. You swear the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God. Have a seat. Give us your name and address, and we'll.
Don Brockle. I'm at 710 Laurel Avenue. Also own the property at 715 on South Edgemere Drive. The properties that you're talking about, right next to Eric.
Which lot is that? Do you know?
It's it's a second house.
Here.
It's number 4.
Number 4. Okay.
It's one of the smallest houses in Ocean Township. So
Okay.
yeah, I think Bill's right. There is water issues in the groundwater throughout that area, and that's one of the reasons. I think Bill hit it on the head with the water issues and runoff. And one thing that the group may not know, and you may not know, is there's a stormwater system on South Edgemere now.
Excellent.
And now it possibly you could tie into that. What's unique about Eric's property, since I've been playing in there since I was about 1 year old, right? So I grew up in that whole area.
What was that a long time ago, huh?
That's a long time ago, man. A long time ago.
He rode Noah's
So-
Ark right down the lake.
No more. I only moved 30 feet, so I didn't go for it. But what's unique about that area is that we just put it in. The township put it in. It's underneath the property, right next to just the home side of South Edgemere, is a piping system that goes to Monmouth Road and into Deal Lake. Because we have such bad drainage of water in that area, plus a lot of sump water. So there's a possibility. His house is unique where his water line goes to South Edgemere, and there's some kind of easement. There's a possibility that your neighbor in the back, Fred, might be able to allow you to put a water line back to take that water out to that line and connect to his. That's a possibility, which would be interesting. But yeah, I'm here to talk about two things. One is the water, and I love trees. And they did cut a tree down last year for this project or piece of it for their family, and they seem to have a very nice family. I like to have the trees maintained that they got there. There's 2 large oak trees that basically are the pillars of that neighborhood of Block 71. And I love to have them trimmed up and maybe even additional trees put in to help the water issue, to help the groundwater, because the groundwater is a problem there. Yeah, the more trees that go down, the more problems we have in our sumps. The sumps are going constantly in that location. The other thing is the location of the hot tub. I'm all in favor of having a hot tub. I think it's great. I have one. It's in the back of my house. And, growing up, having my kids grow up, there was a lot of noise in that place. And we had it concentrated in the back, and where you have it proposed is on the side. I would like to propose that you had a fire pit area that was proposed in that general area, but within the footprint of your house. I would like, if you could put it there, it would be better than out in the side, because you're actually taking up more impervious area. You're taking up grass area with this hot tub. If you move it in the back, it's more in that area.
The pad is already existing in the back?
Is it there?
Yeah,
Okay.
it's already
So-
existing, and I don't have any current plan to really put the hot tub now. It was
but
designed, but I wasn't really,
Was that maybe that was the location of a shed? Maybe I'm not sure.
there may have been a shed there. Yeah.
So that's one thing that
prior to me.
the committee can.
No variance required for the hot tub.
Right, correct. But we're talking about noise issues around the neighborhood, and the location is a direct shot to me.
The board has no jurisdiction.
I understand. I'm just talking to Aaron. But the other thing, in terms of impervious condition, if you eliminate that block of concrete, there's less impervious on the property, and there'd be more concentration in the backyard where he wants to be, where his family wants to be.
You said that the sumps in that area do run?
Excuse me? Oh, absolutely.
They do.
Yeah.
So that's a concern even in that backyard.
It's what?
You said that the sump pumps do run.
Yeah.
in
Without
that
doubt.
For me, that I really wanna know where that pipe's gonna drain out.
Yeah, and
That's
it's
gotta
all
drain
right.
in the same spot.
He could get lucky and go out to the front. That'd probably be an easy.
That's probably not a big deal to run around.
Correct.
Okay.
But again, my concern is the noise in the neighborhood on the hot tub, and we can move it back of the house. That'd be wonderful. So, I think that's about it. And also the trees, if we get some extra foliage in there, that'd be wonderful. And other than that, I wish him well. So that's it.
Thank you, Mr. Bracco. Anyone else care to be heard on this before we carry this? All right, okay, the application, we have enough time?
Yes.
Okay,
Well, the next meeting is when?
April 19th.
Will you be able to, which means that any documents have to be in by April 9th? What? Or sooner?
The ordinance says 21 days.
21 days. Okay.
So you carry to May.
So you better carry till May. In other words, 21 days before April 19th is March 30th or something like that.
Right.
29th.
I mean, so what the board is asking me to do is to contract with a engineer.
Well,
Engineer surveyor,
Or
yeah.
surveyor to get
Right.
at least the grade,
All right.
right?
Well, there's some local guys that do both that are really familiar with that neighborhood.
Right.
Maybe they live there.
Right. And so they can
Check.
give a report to the board
Yes.
stating
Think it, Harold.
where the water will run off.
Well, there'll be some elevations on the plan showing it, and yeah, exactly.
Right.
It doesn't have to be a lengthy report. We just
Which-
need a demonstration that the water can get from your new patio to a street.
To a street or this storm drain system or a dry
That's in
well.
the street, so it's got to get
Right.
But
without impacting anybody
Right.
adversely.
But
That's
you
all.
need
we're
a new
doing.
survey with dimensions too?
Yeah.
So he's got to survey it and,
Well, he's got to get a topo. I mean, it's
Do
The
it
survey the current survey has dimensions.
you know, I understand.
Doesn't
Your
have-
plan
Doesn't
doesn't
have
have
height.
dimensions.
Doesn't have elevations.
It doesn't have elevation.
and your
Right.
plan doesn't
Your,
have
your
dimensions.
plan doesn't have any dimensions on it per se. It just says we're going to do a 4-foot bed. And
You're gonna need a survey. You're gonna
not
need,
where you show it. Okay, the concrete slab on your survey is not where you show it on your rendering. It's right up to the rear property line versus 4 or 5 feet off it. Okay, so I mean, I don't know what. We need something signed and
Right.
sealed that's real. Okay.
Well, concrete slab is not in the works anyway because, like I said, the hot tub has been tabled by me. So,
okay, then,
so I just want to be clear of what the board needs because I want to try to get through the process and
Try to get a local guy. I won't recommend anyone in particular, and have him call me, and we'll make sure that he does the minimum necessary to protect everybody and you.
right.
Okay.
Because I'd like to try to get this in the next hearing so I could have the work done.
we will carry it to the 19th. If you don't get, if you don't get the plans in on time, you're not gonna get heard. But
Right.
we can try it.
Okay.
So, the application of Eric Satin, Block 71, Lot 2, 706 Laurel Avenue in West Allenhurst is hereby carried to our meeting of April 19th, 2018. This will serve as public notice. No further notice will be required. See you next month. Good luck.
Willie.
You have your guy call me before he goes and does a whole lot of stuff.
Okay.
Okay. Next application is case number 3. David Hamadani, Block 25.27, Lot 7, 199 Oakhurst Road, Oakhurst, in an R4 zone. This is an application to construct an in-ground pool patio and fence with variances for front yard setback under minimum, fence height over maximum in the front yard, fence height over maximum in the required site triangle. Good evening. Who's going to be testifying? Raise your right hand, please. Do you swear the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I'm going there.
We should have a seat. And give us your name and address, please.
Hi, my name is David Hamadani, and I'm the owner of 199 Oakhurst Road, Oakhurst, New Jersey.
Okay, thank you.
I am William Volz. I'm a professional engineer licensed in New Jersey, also a professional engineer and planner.
Okay, would you raise your right hand, please? Do you swear the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Okay. Have a seat. Richard will mark the packet B1 with tonight's date, and we'll continue with our combination planner engineer.
Okay, we'll do our best. I'm just going to read. It's easier that way. Okay, so this is Mr. Higgins' report dated March 11th, 2018. The applicant is proposing to construct a pool surrounded in 6-foot high fencing in the front yard of a corner lot. The site is a 12,000 square foot corner lot with 100 feet of frontage on Wells Avenue and 125 feet of frontage on Oakhurst Road. It is occupied by a single-family residence. The lot is oversized for the zone by 2,500 square feet, and the lot width exceeds the ordinance requirement by 25 feet. The application requires variances for pool setback, 30 feet required, 13 feet proposed from Wells Avenue for a distance of 36 feet. Pool surround setback, 30 feet required, 3 feet proposed from Wells Avenue for a distance of 63 feet. 20 feet proposed from Oakhurst Road for a distance of 20 feet. Solid fence height, 3 feet permitted, 6 foot proposed on the Wells Avenue front property line for a distance of 67 feet. 6 feet proposed, 18 feet from Oakhurst Road for a distance of 36 feet. Driveway location, 5 feet from property line required. Existing driveway is 2.1 feet from the property line. The site is 25% larger than required in the zone, and the house is situated so that there is not sufficient room in the side or rear yard for the construction of a swimming pool. This is due to the size, location, and configuration of the residence. There is nothing regarding the size, shape, configuration, and topography of the property that creates an undue hardship. In addition, I can see no planning benefits that would justify the granting of a variance. Consequently, I do not see any positive reasons for the granting of the variances for the pool surround, or fence. With regard to negative impact, there are no residences in the surrounding neighborhood that have swimming pools in the front yard or 6-foot high fences on the front property line. Consequently, the application is not consistent with the surrounding area and would likely have a substantial detriment to surrounding properties. With regard to the location of the driveway, it appears that this has been in place for many years and has not been a problem. The applicant is also requesting a waiver from the ordinance requirement of tree replacement. A total of 3 trees are being removed, one of which is dead. The applicant is proposing replacements for the 2 living trees. I have no problem with this request. However, the board should be aware that if there were no development application, the applicant could remove the 3 trees without the requirement for replacement. Due to the unusual nature of this application, I recommend the board members visit the site and inspect the neighborhood prior to taking any action on this application. My report dated March 10, 2018. A signed sealed copy of the topographic, item 3. I won't repeat items 1 and 2. They've already been stated in Mr. Higgins' content. Item 3, a signed sealed copy of the topographic survey referenced at General Note 3 must be provided. Additionally, the proposal for stormwater infiltration at General Construction Note E must be substantiated by permeability tests and soil logs. 4, notwithstanding planning considerations regarding the matter, I can offer no engineering argument in support of the proposal.
Thank you, Bill. Who's going to speak? Okay.
Hi. I have 4 kids, three daughters, 19, 17, and 13, and I have a son, 8 years old. For the last 4 years, they asked me for a pool, and my answer to them, I don't have time for this. I'm too busy in my business. Go to your friend and enjoy their pool. Few months ago, that's a good answer.
Good answer.
Few months ago, June 3rd, I had a chest pain, ended up in the hospital, and I had a massive heart attack. And after I went to the operation room and everything was okay, they put a stent and whatever they had to do. The first thing the doctor told me, you have a new birthday now. At the moment, I didn't realize what he's talking about, but then a few weeks after, I understood what he was talking about, and I was going to work on the train and I started crying like a baby. So I realized I have a new lease for life, and I had to close my business in order to spend the time with my family, and obviously my life has to change. I'm watching my food, I have to exercise, I cannot stress. As I said, I closed my business and I'm trying to find something else that I can do the job and be the most possible next to my family. I barely take vacation due to the business, but now this year, this is gonna be my 3rd vacation this year. So what I'm trying to do is to spend the most time with my family, because what happened to me once, it can happen again and again. It's not a one-time situation. I'm 47 years old. I never took a pill in my life, and I was checked by a doctor a few days before that. My cholesterol was good, my everything was good, blood pressure, I had nothing, and then just happened out of nowhere. And thanks to my wife, she forced me to go to the hospital. I don't want to go to the hospital. I didn't think something is wrong, but thanks to her, I was able to have this new life. So when I bought the house, I didn't touch anything in the property. The house was built on the property the way it is, and I want to put a pool in the house because the doctor recommended to do exercise, and the pool is low impact water aerobic. And to be very honest, I don't want my kids to go to other people's pool. I want to be able to have my kids, my family next to me. And this is the reason why I want a pool, and this is the only place I can put it, because my property is a big property, but I have no room, no elsewhere to put it.
We definitely appreciate your situation, but we're constrained by the legalities and the law of the site itself. And unfortunately, personal situations really have no impact on the need for approvals for what you're asking for. You have to make an argument, your engineer or an attorney on planning considerations. We can't consider personal reasons for granting this kind of an approval. We're constrained by doing this. Mr. Steinberg would have our heads if we approved it just on that basis. So if you have a case to make for planning and zoning reasoning, we're all ears, we're listening. But unfortunately, we can't make any kind of a decision based upon your personal medical situation. We just can't. So unless you have more to say concerning planning and zoning and to reply to our professionals' reports, I don't know what else we can do.
So
you have some, Mr. Volz, you have something to add?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
I know that the planner had indicated that there were no compelling reasons. I consider this property to be somewhat irregular in a sense that there is no rear yard, nor is there a side yard in which to place a pool. There's only 25 feet from the back of the dwelling to the property line, given 10-foot setbacks, at least a 5-foot setback for electrical code or whatever to a pool. You could only get a pool 10 feet wide, and that's it. The side to the south of the property has drainage issues already. There are drains in Oakhurst Road that go to an A inlet that's shown on the topographic survey. Copy of, you never got a copy, Bill?
Not of the topographic one, no.
Okay, I have a copy with me if you.
Oh, well,
I know one was submitted.
okay.
But
I
anyway,
got a copy of the survey was submitted, but not the topographic survey.
well, I had both. But,
Okay.
There's on the topographic survey an A inlet, and it's also shown on the plot plan. There's an A inlet, which is actually a low point in Oakhurst Road near the front corner or southwest corner of the property. Stormwater along the road catches there, and essentially it flows to the east, and it ends up in several series of inlets that were placed there and kind of bubbles onto the surface and sits there for half a day until it percolates into the ground. The soils in this area are all Eavesboro sand. They're highly drained, well drained, and so the water that does drain goes away relatively quick. But placing a pool on that side of the house, also due to the fact that it's only 20 feet off the property line, won't make it work. We had considered initially trying to put a pool in the rear yard, but given the fact that there are so many constraints.
Well, let me ask you some questions on that.
Sure.
Because, first of all, I've been here a long time. I don't see a 6-foot fence getting a variance on wells right on a property line.
Understood.
Typically, we require 15 feet, which basically gives you more constraints in your rear yard. But if I'm looking at this survey, right, you've got 25 feet and change, 25.4 feet from the house to the property line. So, I mean, if you were 5 feet off the property line and 5 feet off the house, it gives you a 15-foot pool. I mean, this is a big pool and a huge patio on a lot that doesn't have any space to put it. Doesn't that?
Understood.
It's not the usual soils are It's the planning stuff.
I understand. The other thing about the rear yard is actually there's a.
Mr. Volter, you have to use the microphone, otherwise we're not gonna get recorded.
Sorry. And the other thing about the rear yard is that there's actually a 3.5-foot drop from the basic driveway till the southerly corner. So that basically means
You put a retaining wall around
I
the
could
pool.
put a small little retaining wall along the property line, put a fence on top of it, maybe a patio.
I mean, that's a whole different proposal. That's not anything like what's here. And it's got its own set of variances, and the board, that's what would need to be if that's what you.
Yeah, but that's what makes sense.
Well, it makes more sense, absolutely, but
And I understand.
not gonna. That's nothing the board can act on tonight.
Understood. My client had actually come to me some time ago and actually had asked for the pool in this location, so that's why we drew up the plan that way accordingly. I agree that the patio itself is a lot. The pool, I think a 1632 is a relatively normal sized pool. But I mean, the patio definitely could be reduced. It could be pulled away somewhat from Wells. Definitely somewhat from Oakhurst, and maybe we could do some additional landscaping and get the fence enough off the property line so that it becomes a standard open.
Well, I'm gonna make a suggestion. If you, that's a whole different application. So if that's the way you wanna pursue it, I think what you need to do is contact Mr. Kirk after you get some concepts together and have a TRM, with myself and Jim Higgins and Kate, the zoning officer, and get a sense, don't do a whole lot of work, just a cartoon with enough dimensions that it's accurate, so that, we'll give you our feedback from what we think the board might be interested in or not, and then you can decide if you want to go with it. I think that's the way you have to do it. I mean, to try to talk from this into something else, it's a different night of hearing with a different drawing in front of the board.
Can I make a suggestion? Maybe we.
Henry, you use the microphone too.
I'm sorry, I looked at this property today. There is no way that I could ever vote yes for a pool on Wells Avenue.
A pool,
Yeah.
at all.
No. No.
So if that's a good point then.
Is that on Wells Avenue, you said?
On the side yard where you're
But
gonna
I
put
said
it.
at all.
At all.
And how about in the front and the back?
In the back would be fine. I would
That's what I'm
I would
saying,
go
so-
for that. I would give them variances for that, but not on the side. It's just it would be unheard of in our town that we ever did
Yeah,
anything.
no, I don't disagree with you.
Mr. Madani, let me ask you a question, just out of curiosity here. You realize that anyone who has an outdoor pool, you'd only use it a couple of months of the year. You're not going to use it 12 months of the year. And if you're going to, want to do your exercising, all year round, what are you planning on doing in the winter months?
In the winter, I go to the gym, and in the summertime, as much I'm trying to do a lot of traveling to do swimming as much as I can. I'm going to Florida in a week.
I'm sorry, say,
I go to the gym to do to do exercise, but the outdoor pool, it's recommended by the doctor.
but you can only be, I don't mean to argue this with you, but it seems to me like you're only going to use that a couple of months out of the year.
Right,
And
couple of months.
If you want to do swimming, the rest of the year, you're going to have to find an indoor pool someplace to do that with or not. So I don't see where, your argument is not really strong as far as I'm concerned, even if there's some other considerations that you're going to get 12 months worth of use out of the pool. You're not going
Right.
to use it, and you're going to have to make other arrangements for the rest of the year if you want to do swimming as opposed to any other kind of exercise. So I don't see where you have a need for this, even on some other basis. I'm having trouble understanding that.
It's really exercise and having the whole family together, and then having my kids.
Well, that's okay, but
You
that's not a
this
medical reason, and what we've come up with, you don't have any planning reasons to this. Your engineer can attest to that. So, if you want to make a case, you better revise your thinking on it.
There's no room on that side.
That's my suggestion, but it's up to everybody else here too.
Listen, I think there's room in the backyard.
There may be, let
There are
them,
pools that are 12-foot wide, 14-foot wide, and they could be longer too. They could be instead of 30 feet, they could be 35 feet. I mean, there's a viability in the backyard.
yeah, there's other considerations that you have to explore.
In the side yard, in my eyes at least.
Maybe it could be a bit of an L
I
around
think you-
around the house a little bit or something like that. Give a shape to
If you
it.
wanna pursue the backyard, you could come in with a drawing and we'll have a
Yeah.
technical review meeting with you.
I suggest you
People that are gonna-
follow Mr. Fitzgerald's suggestions and come up with some other concepts and get together with them and come up with something a little more creative, shall we say.
And in the backyard, I have the house behind my house on Wells Avenue. It's a 2-floor house, and then whoever's on the window, they can see everything going on in my backyard. So like,
Mr.
there's
Hubbard, I don't want to just rain in your parade, but sometimes we can't all have what we want, where we want it, when we want it. If it doesn't fit,
right.
it just, there's a lot of reasons, but we just can't just make an exception for you that we would not do for other people. I mean, it
I understand.
doesn't fit. Sometimes a piece of property doesn't sustain a pool, or somebody might want a tennis court or something else. Sometimes it just doesn't work. And there's, reasons for it. So if you come up with some alternative plan, we'll consider it and run it through the technical review committee. But I would say to you, based upon my feeling here, this application, you can pursue it, but I don't think it's going to fly.
As Mr. Henry said, is it there's a way to have the variant granted in the back of the house like this? I will be able to.
You got to make an we can't
Has
tell
to
you
go
that
through
now in
all the
advance. We have to
smoothing?
see an application here that goes through our planner and our engineer's review, and then we can consider it. And then you got to make your case on a planning basis under the statutes. So we can't make any kind of commitment, except I don't think this is going to fly what you have here. You got to come up with some alternative, or it's not going to fly. It's up, it's your case.
Right.
Okay, so we're going to carry this till. You gonna have anything ready by April 19th? I don't think so.
Let me ask a question. Is
Sure.
this, if the pool were moved to an alternative location, and I were able to sit down with Mr. Kirk and Bill next week sometime, I could possibly have a plan together, of course. But would this be considered an amended plan, or would it be considered?
Yeah.
No, we can
Okay.
amend the application. I
Okay.
don't think you're gonna make it, because we have a 21-day rule for submission
Yeah,
of
next
plans.
week is really-
And I
I
think
don't
you're gonna
have
have to renotice, because if you're going into the
All new
back,
variances,
it's gonna
right?
require variances in the rear, okay, or maybe some side yard variances.
I think they're, yeah.
There's gonna be different variances, obviously, so you're gonna require the renotice also, which would again be 10 days before the hearing. So I would suggest you go to May, and I know it's cutting it tight to build the pool, but if you think you can get it in the next 2 weeks, that's up to you.
I mean, I'm willing.
Well, I'm not readily available next week. I got a ton of stuff next week going on.
Okay.
I can tell you now, I won't be meeting next week.
So-
Rachel's at May 10th?
It's May 17th.
May 17th? Okay.
But by May 17th, you would have time to meet with the professionals, provide a different plan, have a zoning determination as to which variances you need, and renotice.
Okay.
Once it's approved if it's approved on May 17th, you don't get a resolution till June, so I don't know when you're gonna build this
Oh, we
thing.
lose the summer.
Yeah, you may, but it's late to start for this to start with. Most people start for pools in September. But
All right.
Would you
Before-
be willing for me to sit down and meet with them and go over an alternative plan?
All right, before I carry it, is anyone from the public here to be heard on this application? Ma'am? Come up to the microphone, please. Would you raise your right hand, please? You swear the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, sir.
Please state your name and address.
My name is, excuse me,
There you go.
I just lost it. My name is Diane Sermon. I reside at 192 Oakhurst Road. I'm here, so I just want to say what I was prepared to say. I'm sorry for your health issues. I didn't know about that. I want to preface by saying that Mr. Hamadami has always been a very good neighbor, But I have such concerns about this application that I felt like I had to come. When I moved, I've lived in the town almost 50 years, but I spent most of my time in Wayside, and when I moved to Oakhurst, I said to my husband, oh my gosh, people walk their kids to the bus stop here. So, that sort of sums up the whole neighborhood. Everybody, people walk, people ride their bikes, people push their strollers, people walk their dogs. There's a woman in a motorized wheelchair who walks her dog, and everybody who does that is in the street because there are no sidewalks in our neighborhood. So when I saw about the site triangle and the 6-foot fence, I had other concerns, but I do want to say that those two were my major concerns from a safety point of view. There's bus stops on the corner. So I'm very glad to see that there's an alternate proposal, probably going forward, because I think a lot of the neighbors were concerned. Unfortunately, I was the only one who could make it tonight, but I just wanted to let you know how at least one of the neighbors felt about the application. Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you. All right, we're carrying this application to May 17th. You have enough time enough time waiver? Okay. Okay, you'll sign a time waiver here. And we're carrying this application of David Hamadani to our next meeting of May 17th, 2018. This will serve as public notice. No further notice is going to be required. Okay. Thank you. Next case is case number 4, Guy Harriott, Block 25, Lot 118, 213 Delaware Avenue, Oakhurst, in an R4 zone. This is an application to construct a detached garage with variances for building coverage over a maximum.
Absolutely. How come you don't have any here?
Yeah, because you don't either.
Oh, I'm sorry.
We're matching engineers.
Good evening. To raise your right hand, please. Do you swear the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? Okay, please give us your name and address in the microphone.
Guy Harriott, 213 Delaware Avenue, Oakhurst.
Okay, thank you very much. Rachel, could you mark the packet B1? And Bill,
Yes.
reports, please.
Read Mr. Higgins' letter of March 8th, 2018. The applicant is requesting to construct a 372 square foot detached garage. Construction of the garage will increase the building coverage from 24% to 29%. The ordinance permits a maximum building coverage of 27%. The reason for the construction of the garage is that the applicant requires more space to store materials and a sheltered storage space to accommodate his disability. The site is a 10,000 square foot conforming lot in the R4 zone, and the existing lot is fully conforming. It is occupied by a residence and a small 44 square foot shed. If the shed were removed, the lot coverage would be 9 square feet over the maximum 27%. The applicant should provide testimony as to the necessity for maintaining the shed. If the board is satisfied with that testimony, I have no concerns regarding the granting of the variance, since the application advances a purpose A, backwards, of the municipal land use law, which is to encourage municipal action to guide the appropriate use or development of all lands in the state in a manner which will promote the public health, safety, morals, and general welfare. I have a letter dated March 10th. I'll skip 1 and 2. Item 3, notwithstanding planning considerations regarding the matter, I have no substantive engineering concern regarding construction of the garage in general, but note the following with respect to its proposed dimensions. A, proposed garage dimensions are 15 foot 5 inches by 24 feet. This is a very large one-car garage. A typical one-car garage is approximately 12 foot 6 by 20 feet. Somewhere in the middle for the extra storage of equipment and everything might be worth looking at. Even Mr. Higgins points out 9 square feet over. Get rid of that 9 square feet, you have no variance for the coverage. That would be pretty helpful. The proposed garage door is 12 feet wide. Again, this is very large considering a typical one-car residential garage door is 8 foot 6 inches wide. Given that this will face a street, the need for such a wide door should be explained. The proposed building height is not clearly indicated within the submission. Item 4, the driveway has a high point and the garage appears to be behind to the rear side of it. This is not a good design. During heavy downpours, driveway runoff is going to flow toward and likely into the garage, right under the door. Okay, an existing elevation and a grading plan should be provided. I looked at you got it marked out there. So when I went by, the driveway goes up and goes down. Well, the garage,
Right, but
the garage door is behind the peak of the hill.
New construction would be higher.
Well, you got, if it's too much higher, by the time you get to the end of the 24 feet, it might be a change of grade of 2 feet, which is another variance.
It's under that.
But we don't have it. I can't review it. You haven't shown what the elevations are going to be.
I thought there was, I put them all on that, the one drawing.
Oh, well, then maybe I missed it. It was not an easy, it was not a normal plan in format, so I could have missed it. That's my only concern, is that you don't want to put it behind the high point of your driveway.
I understand.
Not a good idea. Okay.
I had worked with elevations in my career.
Good.
I'm not real good with the feet and points. I'm better with.
Mr. Harriet, you have to use the
Feet
microphone. We're recording too.
But what I did was took Charles Chet's drawing, and then kind of worked off of that, and on the that's where I'm at here. On the porch was the high point, and then so we kind of worked down from the porch, and went a 4-inch step, and then the sidewalk came down 2 inches over about 8 feet to I think the 46 mark, and then the front of the garage is 46.2. And then it goes up to 46.2.75 for the garage floor. And then the back of the garage is 2 inches higher than that. So everything's coming up as you go back.
Is that indicated on the plan,
Yeah.
these elevations?
Oh, I see what it is now. Okay.
Okay.
I don't see a 46.2 in that area you just indicated.
Different plan.
It's 43 and 44.
There were two sheets of what you provided that I didn't include in. They were too large to move on my plan.
Okay.
If you want, I can watch it and we can pass it around. That might be that piece of
All right. As long as Bill has it, that's.
Okay. So,
Well, I to be honest, I did not, when I saw this is, I did not pick up the elevations on it.
yeah. And on that one also,
Mr. Harriet, you got to use the microphone, otherwise we're not going to be recording.
on that one also, the it's coming up about a foot from the existing grade. If we were to come all the way at the top of the patio, it's about 1 foot down to where it exists now. And so the garage itself would actually come up, if there wasn't enough drainage that way, would, we could come up
That's
another
sort of
inch
my
or two.
point, is that I'm not sure where the garage sits on this. It's a little unconventional. Okay, that's the problem. It's not an easy thing to get a handle on all this. But having said that, at the back of the garage, the existing ground is somewhere between 42 and 43, and you're talking about a garage floor of 46. So what are you going to do outside that? Okay, that's a 3.5 foot garage floor above grade. I mean, what's the height?
Right, and then on the elevation drawing
Right.
was steps and,
All right. Well,
and ramps
none of the, okay.
going up the side of the property, which also on this drawing points out the height of the garage, which was another
I
question.
apologize, but I didn't pick up a lot of this stuff because it's. Oh, so what are we looking at again? I'm sorry. The page 5.
Can I walk over with mine now?
Well, if you just tell me which page, I think I got most of them here.
Well, it's the elevation drawing, looks like this.
Well, there's nothing called elevation drawings. I guess you got a page number up top. Does it say page 5 up top, or is it?
I don't have a number on my page.
Yeah, it's this one. Yeah, Bill, things we have in the past.
It's here. Okay, so this is what you're talking about.
Yes.
Where to show me the ground elevation at the back of your garage?
Well, the ground elevation isn't here on this
Well, that's what I
particular
need to
one,
know.
But it's showing you how you get
gonna,
up to there.
How are you going to build your garage floor 3.5 feet above grade at the back?
It'd be a block wall, the foundation.
So it's going to be, in essence, a retaining wall. I mean, a block wall, an unreinforced block wall won't hold a car. I'm not kidding you. I wouldn't want to do that. I mean, you typically want to raise the ground some to support it.
Yeah, well,
And now
well,
it's starting to get kind of tough back there with
well,
grade.
the wall that we built last year,
The what?
that we put a retaining wall in here last year, and back right about the middle here, comes up 3 feet. So we're going from 3 feet to that, which is about 7 feet. So it's only 4 feet more than what it is, you know what I mean?
I think probably a TRM would be really good. Don't
Yeah.
know?
Oh, no, I'm
I mean, it's
thinking
a
of 4
12-inch
feet
block.
unbalanced
Yeah.
is not,
Well, it's
a
not a good
safe
thing.
issue.
Well, yeah. I mean, I think that we should sit down at a technical review meeting
Okay.
and kind of work through some of this stuff and get it into a format that we can evaluate it, get an idea of the height of the garage.
It'd be, I'm just trying to think, it's probably maybe 6'8" out of the ground with 12-inch block with reinforcing bars in it. I mean, there's rebar in this one here that we designed.
we should sit and talk. We should.
Yeah, I don't think we're gonna be able to use, I mean, I apologize, but I didn't pick up a lot of this stuff. I certainly didn't pick up the elevations on your drawing. I'm sorry.
Let's start with the variance before we get to the construction.
Okay.
'Cause we need some testimony why you need anything this large,
Well, do you
Well-
need to keep the shed
well-
after you put the garage in?
or that.
Yeah, personally, I would like to have a 2-car garage, but went for the one with a little bit of space for storage. Not to drag you out with my medical history, but basically I've been on dialysis for the last 6 years and got a transplant just recently. So to try and haul a lawnmower from the backyard to the front yard is crazy. And if I eliminate the shed, then I gotta haul a lawnmower from the front yard to the backyard.
Well, you
And
can't,
also my generator is in the shed.
wait a minute, where's the lawnmower gonna be?
I need one in both because of the stairs.
Let me ask you a question. Can you put a door, a
Back.
wide man door at the back of the garage that you can take the,
That would be a drop. That'd be a 4-foot
well,
drop.
that's
to the
my
deck.
point, is that,
You know, and like I said, my generator's hooked up there. That's been hot to a disconnect in the house. And then I wheel it out of the shed and plug it into the plug that's made for it. And then actually the shed is about half, and the other is a playhouse for the kids.
If you sit
That-
talking,
that's-
huh?
too much going on too.
Yeah, there's a lot going on. I think we need to, I apologize for misunderstanding some of this stuff.
But, like you said, maybe if
but
I
maybe- I think
shrunk
we
the
need to
garage
sit
a
down
little
and
bit,
kinda work it out a
just
little
gave
bit.
me some room alongside the car, Once you put the car and you open the doors, there's 10 feet,
I'm not saying not to do a little wider garage. I
Well,
was
that's what I'm
just-
saying, and maybe 14 feet by 20
Yeah.
or 22 or something like
Yeah.
that.
I think that,
We need to have a
I think that
technical
Mr.
review.
Fitzgerald's suggestion is a good one. I think we should,
anybody's grossly out of line with what you're asking. You know what I'm saying? I think everybody's sort of supportive,
Right.
but I think we need a little more.
Yeah, it's basically a hole on the bicycles, and, I just can't do it anymore.
that's fine, but I think we need to get some of the technical things out of the way. We don't need to hear this debate at this point.
Okay.
So why don't we carry this, and you can get together, Bill, when would you be able to do this?
20 afternoon of the 26th works. Done?
Okay, why don't you, we're gonna carry this to,
On an afternoon? During it?
Yeah,
we'll carry this
I
to,
don't work.
Huh?
I don't work.
Monday the 26th in the afternoon?
Monday the 26th. Yeah,
1 o'clock?
yeah.
Just confirm it with Rachel. I'm sorry.
What was that again?
Monday the
Monday.
26th at 1 o'clock? I'm saying that because you'll kill me if I don't have my reports in by then anyway. I'll have them in before that. Huh? Well, we have a meeting that night, so I mean, I'll have the reports in this week.
Should I try to bring the person who's building the garage?
No, I don't care about that.
Okay.
We just gotta iron out some of these details.
okay, why don't we, you guys can talk about this
Carry the next
separately. We're gonna carry this to our meeting, we're gonna carry it on the record for here till our meeting of April 19th. And presumably you'll get together with Bill before then and work everything out so that when we come back here on the 19th, it'll be a much cleaner application.
Okay.
Okay, so the application of Guy Harriott, Block 25, Lot 118, 213 Delaware Avenue, is hereby carried to our meeting of April 19th, 2018. This will serve as public notice. No further notice need be given. Anybody have anything else before we adjourn? All right, meeting is adjourned.
That date. 26th.